best racetracks in the world is you've got Donington Park and not so much Silverstone. It's a bit flat and a little bit too, you don't get the best viewing, but there's some amazing racing at every racetrack. So I think any racetrack you get to go to and watch in the BSB, then go for it.
Damon Reeves, thank you very, very, very much. Brad, another start. We're ready to go. 300s away. Can Cormac Buchanan do it?
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing to stop him here, and this should be good. He's broken his lap record on every occasion he's gone out on the racetrack, so look out for this one here. Cormac Buchanan is about to start the Supersport 300 New Zealand Grand Prix. The marshals are in now. We will be in the starters' hands. Inside of him, Hamish Simpson, Jesse Stroud and Regan Bray. They've been the best of the rest so far this weekend, and don't rule out Dennis Charlotte for Grand Prix glory here as well, as our front row get a wonderful start down on the run into turn number 1. They're all going to jump in behind Cormac Buchanan Slipstream. And Damon, we talked about just how tough this is going to be on Cormac Buchanan. He's had a couple of laps on the 600, it's been red flagged. He's got to do this 12 lap here and then get back on the 600 and ride again. This is going to test the young man from Southland.
Oh, definitely. He's done a lot of racing in the last year, but there's nothing worse than coming in after a red flag, boiling hot out there, and he's having to get on a different bike and then hit the go button, and then at the end of this race, whether he wins it or not, he's gonna, there we go, so he's already been attacked, so maybe that could have been a little bit of a mental fuzz, obviously getting on a different bike, getting used to everything again. His braking markers and everything would be so different between the two bikes, so yeah, it'd be very interesting to see how this race pans out.
Yeah, Jesse Stroud getting himself in the mix. That was a bold move into Euromark. He come from way, way back. So Jesse Stroud's come to play here in the New Zealand Grand Prix. I talked to him at the lunch break, and he said, I'm excited, I'm ready to go. So look out for Jesse Stroud. He's going to come alive here. Him and Cormac Buchanan have treated us to some absolutely frantic racing so far this summer, and this is going to go on for the full 12 laps, you'd have to imagine, as Cormac Buchanan answers back and goes inside him into Southern Salvage S's. So this is going to be a ding-dong battle for 12 laps and more. We've got Dennis Charlotte, an experienced 300cc campaigner. He's a former champion in this class, and he's won just about every other class in New Zealand road racing. He leads the way in third place there with Hamish Simpson. I think back to Regan Bray in rounding out our top 5. So some awesome young talent out there. Namo, good to see you in 300 Supersport.
Yeah, Supersport 300 has certainly taken another step again this year. It was a little bit weak a couple of years ago after its inauguration, so it's definitely awesome to see such a big field out there again. And obviously you got guys like Cormac who's really showing these kids what you can do on these motorbikes. It's a very, very cheap class for road racing to go and do, and like you said, look at how fast Cormac is going, and Jesse Stroud, he's doing a brilliant job on the machine he's riding. He's doing a brilliant job, and I think it's pretty cool. He's learning so much from someone who's been racing in Europe for 2 years now, so it's pretty cool to see these boys having a good ding-dong.
One of the highlights for me at Cemetery Circuit was Jesse Stroud's performance. He broke the lap record in 300 Supersport racing. He then went on an Ninja 400 and mixed it up with the top guys in Formula 3 racing, and a superstar day for him. So just the way Jesse Stroud's turned up to the racetrack this summer is absolutely fantastic, and he's giving it his all out there on that Hallicraft Racing Barnacard machine. We've got Dennis Charlotte getting hounded by Hamish Simpson. So Hamish Simpson, another one who's turned up to play this summer. He's had podiums at Manfield and podiums here already this weekend, and he'll be loving this fight here. This is the New Zealand Grand Prix up for grabs, and you'd have to think third here behind Jesse and Cormac would be a pretty good defeat nonetheless, Damon.
Oh, definitely. He's got Dennis to deal with, and he's a wily old fox. He certainly knows exactly how to ride these tracks, and especially being his home circuit. So I think he's got his hands full as Hamish, but I think it'll be very exciting to see how these boys get on, and hopefully it goes right down to the wire between them.
All right, absolutely. And a shout out to Regan Bray. He's been 5th all weekend so far, 2 fifth place finishes for him. And we go to Harrison Shanks in 6th place. Andrew Guthrie is in 7th with him. Cameron Leslie on the D6 Motorsport team. That's 8th place for him. Isaac Aldred is in 9th. And then running at our top 10. And then Lucas Scott, the local Cantab, doing well. And isn't it great to have not only the Cantabrian riders doing well, but a good crowd in here, Damo? It's good for New Zealand road racing.
Yeah, definitely is a brilliant crowd here this weekend. And obviously it certainly helps when you've got beautiful weather like this. People can't help but go out and watch some motorbike racing. So like I said, we've got a brilliant race here for 3rd place. It looks like Cormac has sort of checked out at this stage, so it's going to be pretty good race right to the finish, I think, for 3rd.
Absolutely. So a 1.5 second lead already with 2 laps done in this one. So 1.562 seconds the margin between 1st and 2nd. It's a 1:41.3 from Jesse Stroud. So Damo, when you think about a 1:41.3, that would have obliterated the lap record if Jesse was out there on his own. So take nothing away from a quality 2nd place finish at the moment.
Certainly not. Jesse's doing a brilliant job. Like I said, he certainly hasn't lacked his father's talent, and he's working hard. You can see he really just wants to be here and racing, and he's showing exactly that why he deserves that Stroud name.
All All right, absolutely. And then Dennis Charlotte and Hamish there, third and fourth place. You can imagine they're going to go on for the next 10 laps for sure. They've been fearsome battlers all week, and they were absolutely inseparable in race one. No different in race number two. They've had a podium finish each, so you'd have to think you're going to need all 9.5 laps remaining to find out who's going to come third in this Grand Prix.
Yeah, you can see Hamish is just hounding Dennis, and that looks like he's made the move, definitely. So that's a good pass that he's made onto Dennis into there. That is not an easy place to make the move.
That's a brave move into Southern Salvage against a man of Dennis Charlotte's experience around Ruapuna. That's a man who's come to play here. Well done from the man from Waiuku, Hamish Simpson. Has got himself into third place in the New Zealand Grand Prix for 300 Supersport Racing. Let's give you an update of the top 10. Cormac Buchanan leads by nearly 2 seconds. Jesse Stroud is in second place. Then go to Hamish Simpson, who's now in third place. Ahead of Dennis Charlotte, Regan Bray still there in fifth place with Harrison Shanks ahead of Samuel Guthrie. Cameron Leslie in 8th place, Idric Waldron in 9th, and then go to Hayden Fordyce rounding out our top 10. So absolutely fantastic, and good to have some girls out there, Damo. We've got 4 ladies in our competition today doing pretty good stuff in the top 15.
Yeah, that's a brilliant. It's always nice to see these girls out here mixing it with the boys. They are certainly no slouches. We've seen that with Avalon Biddle in the past. Even now, she's been racing for such a long time, and she is certainly no stranger of winning races, including championships, like winning the New Zealand Supersport Championship only a few years ago. So it's always nice to see these girls out here and mixing it with them and showing everyone what they can do.
All right, this has got 9 laps to go. It's going to be an exciting Supersport 300 New Zealand Grand Prix, and we've had massive entries, over 20 still carrying on the weekend. We had 24 entries, but 20 remaining, so good attrition rates as well, and a treat for race fans to see Cormac Buchanan a 1:40.370, so he's 2/10 of a second off his lap record he set here in race number 2. So lap record hunting in the Sunday, but that is still pretty impressive.
Oh, that's not an easy thing to do, definitely, with it being so scorching hot. He doesn't have Jesse breathing down his neck. He doesn't have to be doing this, but he's just showing everyone what he knows and what he can do in this country and everywhere in the world. What he has learned in Europe is certainly showing right now. So he's doing a brilliant job to do such hot lap times. And the racetrack, we put a temperature gauge down earlier, and it was certainly nearly 50 degrees. So it's climbing up there, and you certainly start losing grip when you get near the 50 mark.
Absolutely. So he's out of the turn 10 sweeper and starting another lap here. So just controlling this race beautifully. He's going to have 8 laps to go, and it's a 1:40.073. So that is a new lap record. So just as we said how hot the track was, how difficult the conditions were, a 1:40.073, and you better believe there's a 1:39 in him, I reckon. So
the kid's got a point to prove, that's for sure. I think a 39 is only around the corner, and I think what an amazing lap time that would be on a 300. That's hard to do on a 600. If you in the learning stages in the first year to do 39s, and he's doing it on a 300, that's very, very impressive.
Unbelievable. An average speed of 123 kilometres an hour on a 300 Supersport machine. Looking at the lap record coming into the weekend, a 1:42.2 set by Cormac himself. If someone said a 1:39's on the cards, I would have called you a liar on Friday when I saw it. But here we are, Super Sunday, New Zealand Grand Prix title on the line for New Zealand Supersport 300 Racing, and we have been treated to a speed festival from Cormac Buchanan, who has been in the 140s all race long. Jesse Stroud is doing a wonderful job in second place. He has a comfortable margin back to Hamish Simpson, who's now got a 1.3 second lead over Dennis Charlotte. So a comfortable ride now for Hamish Simpson, and a pretty exciting prospect at the office, 3 NZ of the New Zealand Grand Prix, Damo.
Yeah, that's a very good ride from Hamish. He's doing a brilliant job to make the move on Dennis like he has, and he's stormed away at this stage. And obviously, you certainly don't count Dennis out, because he's, like I said, he's a wily old fox, and he might be just playing the long game, giving himself a little bit of a gap, because you do get a bit of heat off these bikes when you're following another rider. So maybe that's his plan, sit there, and maybe you'll see in the last 5 laps he's going to have a good go at him. But Hamish is doing a brilliant job out there, and we can't count Jesse out. He's doing an amazing job. So unfortunately, Cormac is showing everyone what you can do on these motorbikes, but it's an awesome race to watch no matter.
All right, a 1:40.1, so not quite the 1:39 we were looking for, but it's certainly a lightning quick lap time there. Cormac Buchanan continues to stretch out its advantage. He's 7.9 seconds ahead of Jesse Stroud. Then you go back to Hamish Simpson, who's a further 7 seconds down the road. Fastest lap of the race for Dennis Charlotte, so just as Damo was saying, don't count out Dennis Charlotte. He's a wily old campaigner, and he will come alive with still massive 7 laps to go in the New Zealand Grand Prix. Regan Bray has his hands full now. Harrison Shanks is coming for top 5 glory, so look out for that battle to come alive. There's only half a second in that. And then go back to Samuel Guthrie, who's just off the pace of those two as well. He's in 7th place with Cameron Leslie on that D6 Motorsport Working Forget bike. That's 8th place for him. Alex Farquhar and Isaac Waldron have less than a tenth of a second separating 9th and 10th. So top 10 glory, Damo, is certainly exciting. And just to see the youngsters and some new names coming through, it's certainly pretty exciting to come across.
Yeah, it's always good to see new names hit the front, you know, or just hitting road racing in general at a New Zealand Superbike race meeting. It is not an easy thing. It's certainly a nerve-wracking thing walking into your first New Zealand Superbike race meeting. But these kids are showing exactly what they can do when they show up, and being here, surviving these races in this heat, in these long races, and doing a good job.
So Supersport 300 racing in the BSB, that's certainly some of the most spectacular stuff as well. And how does New Zealand compare with that sort of elite level?
It's a very different thing. Where I think what you find in BSB is you've got guys who are at the front like Cormac, and there's another 10 to 15, sometimes 20 that can all do the same thing. And I think that's what really shows is Cormac is doing exactly what you would be seeing in Europe or BSB, is there'd be 10 more of them attached to Cormac's back tyre right now. So I think that's exactly what you would see. But it's like I said, if you're able to see what Cormac's doing, this is now setting the benchmark for anyone else who comes here racing. They've got that lap time to chase, you know, the same spec motorbike as Cormac. There's not so much no excuses, but it just shows what you can do on these bikes, and then they've got that. And if they can hit those sort of lap times on a similar conditions, then they may be ready to go and take that next step and go racing overseas.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, beautiful stuff. So let's update you with the top 7. They've come through the line. It's Corbett Buchanan, 140.2, so actually a 10th slower again that lap. So still a little bit quicker than anyone else on this racetrack. He's got 9.8 seconds now between him and Jesse Stroud in second place. Absolutely fantastic from those two all summer long so far. Then you go back another 9 seconds. That is Hamish Simpson hanging on to third, but now there's less than a second between him and Dennis Charlotte. So that battle for the podium is absolutely electric. They're coming out of the Euromark and on the run to the Fulton Hogan S's at the moment. So look out for that one.
Yep, I called it. Yep, Dennis is the wily old fox. He's not letting go, is he?
Absolutely brilliant. Regan Bray is hanging on just to 5th place. 6th place Harrison Shanks. He's had a wonderful performance so far on the number 35 machine. So man from Kaiapoi on the Morrison Mitsubishi Ashburton Captain tyres and alignments machine. Brilliant stuff from Harrison Shanks, doing a wonderful job. We've got Sam Guthrie there, another one of the local boys on the Get Off My Moto machine. 7th place so far for him, ahead of Cameron Leslie, Alex Farquhar and Isaac Aldrin. Still unchanged to top 10, and look at that battle for the podium, Damo. That is now officially electric.
Oh yes, there's nothing in it, and you can see Dennis is creeping on him, and this will be a real test for to see for Hamish. You know, if he can hang on to it and stay in front of Dennis, then that's a really good ride. Like I said, Dennis has got so much experience in so many different classes. He's a New Zealand Superbike champion. He's won every class you can think of on 2 wheels in this championship. So if he's just looked behind him, so he now knows that Dennis is right there. So it's going to be on right to the very end for these for this podium.
Absolutely. We've got 5 laps to go, so we're well over halfway through this race. It's starting to turn on nicely. Corbett Buchanan's at an 11-second advantage, so it looks like only a disaster really would cost him a New Zealand Grand Prix. Here's the current defending New Zealand 300 Supersport Grand Prix champion, so this will feel pretty good to do. Back-to-back, come here, lap record to make a real statement on his quest for glory in New Zealand road racing. The good news, catching up with Mum and Dad at the start of the weekend, should be able to hang on for the entire series before he has to go over and do his Red Bull Rookies testing, so exciting that we can see him back in the North Island, and Damo just really flying the flag beautifully for New Zealand races in Europe.
Oh, totally. It is not an easy thing. I spoke to his mother earlier in the weekend, and I gave them props. It's not an easy thing for the whole family to jump ship and go over there into Europe and just live it and do it and breathe it. This is what you have to do. The whole family needs to do it at a young age like Cormac's. It's so important that he feels at home, and he certainly showed exactly what he could do with how much he learnt over in Europe over the year. He built up confidence, and I think this is it just keeps him going. All of this racing in New Zealand, whether he's been pushed or not, he's just going to keep going faster and faster. And when he goes back to Europe, he's going to really show everyone what he can do. So I think really awesome to see him battling for this, battling and hopefully winning this championship, but also going into the Supersport 600 field. I think it's going to be a brilliant race. He certainly showed how fit he is. He's going to be a very, very, very hard man to beat in this next race.
Oh, absolutely. So the update is the 3rd place change has been made. Dennis Charlotte's gone up in 3rd in the New Zealand Grand Prix, and he's quicker than Hamish Simpson. So can Hamish respond? There's only 4 laps to go now in the New Zealand Grand Prix for 300 Supersport, and Hamish is going to pull up alongside him. So side by side, what's that split time when they cross the line?
That was
0.003, so almost as close as you can ever be.
Yeah. very, very close. So it's going to be a very, very good race. Oh, and he's made the move back onto Dennis into turn 1. So here we go. We've only got 4 laps to go, and these boys are having a go.
This is unbelievable. So good to watch. As we've got Cormac Buchanan, he's got 13 seconds back to Jesse Stroud. He's got a comfortable 10 further back to this enthralling battle. There's absolutely nothing in that. The battle for the podium. They're through the pothole corner and on the run to the Euro mark hairpin. Absolutely anyone's. And to be honest, Dennis Charlotte had his 21st birthday a few years ago, Damo, but just goes to show experience and racecraft all count for a lot in these 12-lap long motos in the sun.
Oh, certainly he does. You know, Dennis got a little bit balked there in the hairpin by a back marker, but at the same time, you know, he's a wily fox and he's going to dig deep. Now, this may make him a little bit red, so he might chase Hamish down. He's got a little bit of a gap to make back up, but he certainly showed earlier in the race that he can make a massive gap back up and have a good go at it. And I think hopefully we can see a good battle on the last lap for 3rd place.
Absolutely. He reeled in a gap very similar to this with less than 3 laps midway through this moto, so don't rule him out. He's going to love this. The challenge of a podium will be the carrot dangled in front of him as Cormac Buchanan crosses the line again. That's a 1:41.3, so we're going a little bit slow now. There's a bit of lap traffic on the track, and maybe that 1:40.07 may be the lap record that stands. But he's still got 3 laps to go, Damo. I wouldn't rule out another lap record from Cormac, but it's going to take something special with all the traffic now.
I think so. The kid's definitely got his head in gear, and he knows exactly what he needs to do. He's now circulating at a 2nd lap slower, which at his level, he knows he can just sit at that pace all day long with 0 risk. So I think you probably may not see this lap record unless he really feels like proving his point.
All right, this is going to be pretty good. He's also got to get back on and do 14 laps of the New Zealand 600 Supersport race right after this. That'll be playing on his mind as well. He doesn't want to go and do too much drastic behaviour out there in this New Zealand Grand Prix for our Supersport 300. Let's give you an update of the top 10. Cormac Buchanan, Jesse Stroud, that's your 1-2. They've been 1-2 all summer, and it's brilliant to see them in action here again. Hamish Simpson is now in 3rd place ahead of Dennis Charlotte, but look out for that one. And with 3 odd laps to go, that's certainly not done for. Regan Bray in 5th place, ahead of Harrison Shanks. Then go back to Samuel Guthrie, who's ahead of Cameron Leslie, and only a few seconds between those two. So then we go to Alex Farquhar and Isaac Waldron. There's half a second separating that one, and that rounds out our top 10. Victor Scott Hawkes, Lucas Scott and Harriet Grace. Go Harriet in 13th place. Hayden Fordyce, a young 14-year-old man who's going to the OJC this year, the Oceania Junior Cup. And he's there in about 15th place with Angela Charlotte, Kieran Meir, Royd Walker Holt. We go then to Georgia Elvin, Jordan Waters and Olivia Goddard. A bit of girl power, rounding out our top 21 with Tim Barnes there in 22nd. So 22 entries, Damo, pretty exciting for the sport of road racing, and a pretty cool class to get involved in.
Oh, certainly. I've had my little bit of a toy around on these Supersport 300s, and they're one of those bikes that you could just keep doing laps and laps and laps and laps, and you just keep smiling and enjoying yourself. You don't get tired. You just really enjoy riding these motorbikes, and especially when you get into a big pack and you have a good fight, it's certainly the laps just tick away, and then all of a sudden the checkered flag's out.
All right, so Cormac Buchanan has crossed the line. He starts the last 2 laps of the New Zealand Grand Prix for 300 Supersport Racing. Brought to us by Timberi Yamaha too. We'll touch on them as well throughout the day. We love all our sponsors, and Timberi Yamaha, the home of Yamaha in the South Canterbury. But with no round at levels this year, they decided we want to be a part of New Zealand Superbike racing in the South Island, so they've sponsored our Supersport 300 racing, and great to have them on board. So check out them. Timberi Yamaha bringing us 300 Supersport racing for the weekend. We've had a treat on the cards, and this one here has been a 12-lap race. It's been pretty event-free, Damo, but certainly exciting nonetheless.
Yeah, definitely. It certainly has had excitement in this race so far, yeah.
As we see Cormac Buchanan, he's into Christchurch Casino Carousel, doing a magical job managing this race nicely, and coming into the stadium view. Let's get excited about this young man, because we are going to his hometown next weekend. It's going to be brilliant. He's had pretty much the whole city of Invercargill behind him, Damo, and it'll be exciting for him to go and give back and put a show on for his home fans next weekend.
Yeah, let's hope we see a really, really good showing of crowd at Invercargill here to see this kid, you know, in both classes, Supersport 300, showing what he can do, but also in that Supersport 600 class, where we've seen nothing but excitement in all 3 races this weekend so far. And if Cormac's in the mix, I think hopefully we can have an awesome crowd here.
Well, I tell you what, Supersport 600 racing, that'll be worth the price of admission at Invercargill alone, so Teretonga's going to come alive. We always get great racing around there, and I suspect, Damo, that next weekend's going to be no different.
Yeah, it was a track that I got my very first New Zealand Supersport pole position, so I think it's one of those tracks you learn a little bit faster, but I don't think Cormac's going to be learning a whole lot. He really knows that place in and out, so I think Cormac's really going to show everyone what he can do. I think he may even pull off some race wins, which would be very exciting to see.
All right, let's get excited. He's on his final lap now. It is the New Zealand Grand Prix title. He won here a couple of seasons ago when we were here last for Grand Prix racing, and this is going to feel mighty good on that Altherm window system. Shasiar Yamaha Rider Development Racing Team. He's got the whole city of Invercargill in behind this man. He's on to bigger and brighter things this year, including the Red Bull Rookies Cup and the Junior Cup as well for Moto3 racing. So we're looking forward to this man here. He's half a lap away from this ultimate glory of the New Zealand Grand Prix title. He's still got the 600 Supersport Grand Prix coming up next as well. So look out for this young man. It's something special to keep an eye on, and he's into the dipper for the final time, so we're going to get excited about this one and get on our feet. Still a great crowd in here, and they've been treated to an absolute spectacle. 3 races, 3 lap records, and this one here, a 1:40.073. That has obliterated the lap record coming into the weekend, so what a show he's put on. We're excited about him. There's about 4 or 5 of them heading out of the dipper. He's in behind them, so 4 of them are going to cross the line, and then the checkered flag is going to drop and wave, and it's exciting stuff, and a New Zealand Grand Prix victory for Cormac Buchanan. That's brilliant for him. And Damo, what a statement he's made in New Zealand road racing.
Oh, definitely. Cormac's just showed his class right there, so it's a very exciting prospect, certainly for New Zealand road racing, to see what a Kiwi talent can do. You know, it's been such a long time since we've had a big bunch of guys racing overseas, and he's doing a brilliant job. And Jesse Stroud just comes over the line for 2nd place. What a great ride from him too. He certainly showed what he can do with the with a lesser bike, in my opinion. He certainly hasn't got all of the bells and whistles on his bike, and he's certainly showing exactly what he can do on a motorbike.
What a fabulous ride for 2nd place with 1:41.3 his fastest lap. That would have been a lap record if it turned up here on his own. So he's going to have to come away with this weekend knowing how good his pace was. That's 2nd place in the New Zealand Grand Prix for him. He's had a couple of seconds already this weekend. Hamish Simpson's going to hang on for 3rd in the New Zealand Grand Prix, so that's exciting stuff. Dennis Charlotte gave it absolutely everything, but has to settle for 4th place, but he'll be happy with that. Regan Bray's going to come home in 5th place, narrowly ahead of Harrison Shanks, so your top 6 battle, that raged on the whole Moto Demo, and pretty cool to see these guys, and the racecraft's actually pretty impressive out there.
Yeah, definitely. It's always good to see battles, not for 1st, not for 2nd, not even for 3rd sometimes. It's always cool to see these boys having a go. And right at the end of a 12-lap race, that's pretty hard work out there, and Harrison Shanks and Regan Bray, they certainly put on a good show everyone out there.
Absolutely. Then you go to Samuel Guthrie on the Get Off My Moto and NIO's supported machine. Team Guthrie Racing's little bro Lucas is out there as well this weekend, so good to have them out here. That's another quality top 10 result with 7th for him. Cameron Leslie's going to come home in 8th to cap off a good weekend for D6 Motorsport in this category. You look to Isaac Waldron in 9th and Alex Farquhar rounding out our top 10, and also getting excited for Scott Hawkes and Lucas Scott. They will be our top 12. We've got Harriet Grace in there as well, and Hayden Fordyce rounding out our top 15. Angela Charlotte comes home in 16th. Well done to Ange. Legendary performance on the Mega Motorcycle Centre machine. That's 16th. 17th, Kieran Meyer on the Moto Academy TSS Motorcycles machine. Roy Walker Holt, former Pro Twin Chamois, comes home in 18th, with 19th Georgia Alvin, Jordan Walters, and then Olivia Goddard. Well done to Olivia on the Race Supplies machine. That's our top 21. And as they roll into Park Ferme there, Damo, a pretty good day at the office and some exciting stuff, and quality 300 Supersport racing.
Definitely, it's been a brilliant day so far, and I think we're going to see some very good racing right to the end of the day.
All right, let's cross down to Neil, who will have our New Zealand Grand Prix podium. It's exciting times to celebrate this one here. We probably won't have Cormac Buchanan. He's going to have to head off and start his 600 Supersport part 2 of his race, but it'll still be exciting for the likes of Hamish Simpson, 3NZ and New Zealand Grand Prix racing. And then look to Jesse Stroud on that Bartercard Helicraft racing machine. We're going to catch up with them in a moment. Over to you, Neil.
Well, unfortunately, we won't get Cormac here for the interview because he's got to get back on that 600 ride. So we'll let him off for that. Hopefully he'll get on the podium, and we'll talk to him about the race so we can do it the other way around this time. So last time he sacrificed his podium from the 600s to go out in the 300 race, and we talked to him at the end of that one. Now it's the other way around. Hey, you've got some good people in your camp, Hamish, mate, but what a race. Holy Toledo. You know, Dennis Charlotte is an icon of our sport, and you're this new kid on the block coming along. You're racing with the best. How does it feel?
It feels pretty good. It's just nice to be out here doing all the nationals and whatnot. It's wasn't easy.
Wasn't easy. Well, if it was made easy, everybody would do it, wouldn't they?
Of course. You got to be a special type of mad to be out here, don't you?
Special type of mad, nice one. Hey, Dennis out there is a man that's keeping you very honest. He worked on you. What was your secret to get him back?
Just put my head down. Yeah. Put my head down and go for it.
All right. Is it time to relax now?
Yeah, it's time for a beer.
That is a nice way to sum it up, and certainly in the heat of Canterbury, it certainly is, ladies and gentlemen. So cool endeavours there on the 300, as we won't get our number one, but we will get the number two. So we've got a little bit more time. Here it is, the Mike Pero supported Beer Effect Brewery, Joe's Garage, Buttercard, Susie Machine, and Jesse. Yes, you got the answers earlier on. You think you can do it and you can't, but man, he's good, isn't he?
He is. It's just, I tried to stay with him, but it was like one lap, made one small mistake, and it's like he's gone. He's like once he's like further than a metre away, I can't catch him.
Hey, it's an honest defeat. But hey, to give you an idea, you have betted the lap record yourself on both of those occasions. So well done to you. But he's broken his own record again. He shaved 2.1 seconds off a lap record through all of the 3 races he's betted it. So it's pretty impressive. So you are up against good company. So you got to take heart from that.
Yeah, he's definitely fast. I tried so hard to stay with him, but no, he's pitch perfect on every corner, so he's done well.
Hey, you've still got to have some confidence, though, in your riding. You feel you're improving because the statistics speak that you are improving.
Yeah, we did some setup changes on the bike, and it's worked pretty well. So just getting a feel for it. But no, I was definitely quite happy and comfortable on the bike on that last session. So yeah.
All right. Hey, have you got to go back to work this week, or can you have a week's holiday and enjoy us down in the South Island?
Nah, my boss Nathan, he's given me the week off, so that's pretty big. I can hang out in Christchurch with my sister, so yeah.
So what about some of the sponsors? Do you want to head towards Wanaka, a nice place to relax?
Oh, yeah, I was probably hang out with Maddie, but yeah, Wanaka's it's a great place. There's heaps of mountains around, it's really gorgeous, so, yeah. But no, yeah, cheers to the team. They've just done such a good job this weekend, and getting the bike dialed, and so yeah, cheers. We've all worked so hard and done so well, so yeah, thanks guys.
Take nothing away, mate. You've done exceptionally well as well. So keep it up. You can beat him one day. Remember that.
Oh, one day, mate.
One day, Roger, one day. Jesse Stroud, fantastic. Thank you very much for joining us. You're awesome. And, of course, the reason we haven't got this man in podium number one is because he's already out on the racetrack in his other class, and he got a podium in that class last time. Can he do it again? We're about to find out. This is the 600 GP coming next.